Hello book lovers, welcome back to the Bibliovert channel. My name is Jacqueline. When I was thinking about videos that I wanted to make now that I'm kind of easing back into making YouTube videos again after being away for a year, there was one that was an absolute no-brainer, and that was talking about fanfic. So this is going to be part 3 of Let's Talk About Fanfic. In the first one, I show you how to download files so that you can read them on your Kindle. So if you want to know how to do that, definitely go check out that first video. And the second one, I talk about just different fanfics that I love and kind of categorize them. And for today, I'm just going to be catching you up on some of my favorites that I've been reading over the last year. So I am really excited, to say the least. I feel like it's worth mentioning, I read all of my fanfics off of AO3, and I recommend making an account. It sometimes will take a couple of days to get approved, but I've never heard of someone not getting approved, but it's a great way to read any fanfics that have been locked, which a few on this list have. So I just recommend going ahead, making that account, and then you won't have any issues with that. We are getting started with one of my all-time favorite fics. It is so good. It's called To Brew a Scandal by Stars in Motion. This has a little over 81,000 words. Delicious. I've read it multiple times. It is so good. This is a Bridgerton Harry Potter mashup fic. It's so good. So this fic is very much Harry Potter characters set in like the Regency era with some themes from Bridgerton weaving throughout it. Hermione has decided that she wants to get her potions mastery, but she can't because she's Muggle-born and she's unmarried. So she decides that she's just going to get married to the least worst person out there, but Harry and Ginny decide that she's going to have her own season, and she becomes the diamond of the season. She has suitors galore. There is a version of Lady Whistledown in this fic, and of course, Draco. It's so good. It is so good. I highly recommend. Hilarious, adorable, hijinks ensue. 10 out of 10. Could not recommend enough. This next one is The Best of Me by Mrs. Wren. This one also has just a little over 81,000 words. This one is sweet and tender, and I was emotional while reading this and love to recommend it. Hermione and Draco have kind of had a secret relationship throughout school. It doesn't really focus on that very much. That's just kind of like background knowledge. But Hermione goes missing during the Battle of Hogwarts, and now years later, Draco has never stopped looking for her. He is an Auror and he's paired with Harry, and anytime he goes on a mission, he like takes a photo of her to wherever he's going and shows it around to the people that he meets in the hopes that one of them will recognize Hermione. One day he is off on a mission in France, and he of course is searching for Hermione, and he sees a cat and a little boy who looks suspiciously like him, and then the little boy calls the cat Crookshanks. So it's so sweet and tender. It is so sweet and tender. I don't want to spoil anything, but the way that Draco is just so reliable and consistent and steadfast, and the way that they fall is just, I love it. I love it. This next one, it is so creative and good and wonderful, and the author is hands down one of the funniest, nicest people on the face of the planet. It has been taken off of AO3, but the author is okay with it being shared privately, so if you would like to read this one, just reach out to me. But this one is Between Us Flows the Nile by TheBrightCity. It has a little over 116,000 words, and basically it is set in the 1930s and is very much like an Indiana Jones, The Mummy inspired fic. Harry, Ron, and Hermione are archaeologists, and they are hired to go and find a grimoire in Egypt. There are twists, there are turns. It is just delicious, and I wanted to immerse myself in this fic. There's a betrayal that I just did not see coming. It is so good. There's also a companion to it called Lavender Brown Set Sail. That is so funny and so cute. It is locked on AO3, so I recommend reading Between Us Flows the Nile, and then reading Lavender Brown Set Sail. So good. This next one is Carpathian by Unequivocal. It has a little over 102,000 words. What I really love about this one is it's set in Romania at the Dragon Reserve. Hermione is trying to kind of get away from London and everything going on at the Ministry, and she's really good friends with Charlie Weasley, so he invites her out as kind of like a little respite from everything, and lo and behold, Draco Malfoy works at the Dragon Reserve. It was just kind of nice to have something different, and I really enjoyed the mystery element to it as well, and of course the dragons, so I thought it was a lot of fun. This next one I read at the end of last year, and it was hands down one of my favorite reads of the year. I have not been able to stop thinking about it. I'm already excited to do another reread. It is so good. It's A Hard Road to Hoe by Blessed Toaster, and it has just a little over 250,000 words. This one, it is so good. So basically, when Draco was sentenced to go to Azkaban, he instead becomes a secret assassin for the government, for good, and is taking out dark wizards. It has now been 10 years, and he's living this double life. The public thinks that he's this playboy who doesn't take anything seriously, when in reality, his daytime job he takes very, very seriously. But where the story picks up, one of his missions goes horribly wrong, and he's the only one from his group to survive. So he has been put on a temporary leave. He's going to therapy, and in enters Hermione Granger. This was wonderful. What I love so much about this is that it has a perfect mixture of plot, banter, their relationship developing. We have phenomenal side characters. This one truly is a really, really top tier fanfic in my opinion. So this next one was actually based off of a prompt that was given. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or TikTok, but the prompt was, what if there was a law called the Gallows Law, where if a pureblood who does not have an heir and is not married is sentenced to execution, if someone comes forward and is willing to marry them and produce an heir, then they will not be executed. I did read a couple of fics based off of this prompt, but we're going to only talk about one of them, and that is The Gallows by Jillian Eliza. This one has just a little over 47,000 words, and I thought that this was so well done. Draco has been in prison for 5 years, and he's brought home, and I just felt like the way that she described his reacclimation into just life was done so perfectly. I think so often we can see like Draco come home and he just like immediately is fine, but instead in this one, like he's gotten so used to being in a small, confined, dark space and is unable to kind of re-enter society, and it's just, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. There were parts of it that were heartbreaking. There were parts of it that were just really sweet and tender and hopeful. And I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed this one. I also love anything that is like remotely like a marriage of convenience kind of situation. So like, I knew I was gonna love it. So this next one, it's so cute. Oh my gosh. So it is Unequivocal by Irene Doe. It has just over 80,000 words. Y'all, I'm just gonna go ahead and say I love a creature fic. I love a creature fic. So in this one, Draco is part Vila. He has a mate. It is Hermione. However, he hasn't told her. And it's been 10 years and it's slowly killing him. But he is so determined to give her a life where she gets a choice. And he just assumes that she would never choose him. It's so, I was giggling, kicking my feet, having the best time reading this one. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so, so much. And that's all I'm going to say about it. It's just cute. It's fun. It's so good. And on that note, that's everything on my list. I hope you really enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I love all of these fics, so if you end up reading them, please let me know what you think about them. I would love to talk about them more. But if you would like to learn a little bit more about us, you can check us out over on Instagram at the Bibliovertpodcast. We also have a podcast called the Bibliovertpodcast where we talk about books and review them and have the best time. We also have a Patreon that is filled with some of the most incredible book-loving people in the entire world, and there's always, always, always room for more. We just announced our 2025 meetup, and I cannot wait. It's going to be so much fun. We do Patreon exclusive episodes, we do behind the scenes content, we have a book buddy read every month, and a wonderful, wonderful chat. And again, we would love for you to join our family. But that is it for this video. I hope you have a fantastic day, happy reading, and I'll see you next time.